All right, wonderful people, lovers of freedom. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to each and every one of you. Welcome back to Let's Talk TV, your one and only YouTube platform, where they're giving a back-to-back updates on how things they be, on how things they share for Biafra land and beyond. If you're joining us for the first time, remember to subscribe and turn on your notifications too. Also remember to like and share this broadcast as it hot. All right, it's a big win for Biafrans as they defeat the court. As yes, they defeat Zoo. Just take it that way. As 50 Biafrans have been released, who were illegally detained since December 2023 for alleged terrorism. That is, of course, you all know what the Biafra movement is called. Nowadays, it has been tagged terrorism, and that is what these people have been illegally detained for the past just a hit close to 1 year, because we are basically in December again 2024, and this is what this is what has just happened, my people. And this just shows that there has been a big progress for the Biafra movement, and everything has been moving smoothly. I will go into the details of this news shortly. Yes, he said the freed individuals were unjustly arrested by the Nigerian security agents in Anambra State, as you all know, while on their way to attend the burial ceremony. These people were on their way to attend the burial ceremony, and they were detained, saying that they were people that were involved in terrorism. Yes, of course, in quotes, Biafra terrorism and terrorism the state, disturbing the peace of the nation, in quotes. A nation we all know does not even have peace. My people, yes, he said the Federal High Court of Nigeria, sitting in Abuja, has discharged and acquitted 50 Southeasterners, Biafrans, including men and women of various ages who had been illegally detained since December 1st, 2023. The freed individuals were unjustly arrested by the Nigerian security agent in Anambra State. And this was when they were on their way to attend the burial ceremony. They were later transported to Abuja and falsely charged with terrorism-related offenses. Yes, as usual, this is how all our people, or most of the things these people do, happen. They will just arrest and tag people on crimes that they did not commit, and that is how a whole lot of our people have been going missing. Missing after being tagged on what they did not do. We just let you understand that the rate at which the zoo government are ready to displace, eradicate, or cleanse the Biafra movement, or cleanse the Biafra people, is with so much hate in their hearts. It says here that the trial proceeded with prosecution presenting 4 witnesses to support their case. After the prosecution's case was concluded, we filed a no-case submission, which the court ruled on November 29th. In the judgment delivered by Justice J.K. Omotosho, the court upheld the defendant's legal team, led by Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor's no-case submission, and consequently discharged and acquitted the accused defendants from the Southeast Igbos, Biafrans, on 3 counts. Reacting to the judgment, Ejiofor said, "This ruling is not only cause for celebration but also cause for victory dance. I would like to emphasize that this case was handled pro bono. We did not receive a single penny from any of the defendants' relatives, nor do we intend to in the future. We are deeply grateful to the God Almighty for His endless blessings and grace upon our lives. I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to all my colleagues in the chambers." Right, people, this is what it is on anything that concerns the Biafra movement. As these people keep looking for ways to bring down or to stop the Biafra movement from moving forward. That is their case anytime, any day. They do not care about whatever it is that happens. The only thing they actually do care about is the only thing that would give them joy, or anything that would hit back on the crowd. But then that is what it is, as we keep hearing, as we keep getting to understand the full-fledged information on things that are happening, even in Finland, with the Prime Minister Simon Ewa, and the rest of it, my people, would keep going hard. We have heard about what the COS is doing continuously, even in the system at the moment. It makes us think about the kind of people we keep in within us, on how they would turn their ways once things go wrong. My people, it is a big hit, and my people would keep on giving you back-to-back updates so long as you are ready to take them in. Yes, my people, as the hot, would love you to keep listening and listen to every single thing that comes after my voice, as it relates to the movement and how we can keep forging forward against the zoo military. Thank you.
In reaffirming the independence of Biafra, the peoples and nation of Biafra make neither war nor peace with the state or peoples of Nigeria. Rather, we exercise a natural right, a popular right, a political right, and a right supported by the United Nations Organization Charter and international laws. The right of self-determination, right to self-defense, and right to self-governance. In the certain realization that only the effective exercise of self-determination by the peoples and nation of Biafra will end the state of occupation and subjugation by Nigeria of Biafra. In furtherance of this exercise, the Biafra Charter, a formal framework of the people and nation of Biafra, lends authority to and issues a mandate for the creation and formation of Biafra de facto government, BDFG. Listen, my people, with this, you will learn this very evening. Mandate of BDFG, mandate of Biafra de facto government. To create, form, operate, and manage a de facto government for and by the peoples and nation of Biafra, such government, such government to function in the meantime, as a bona fide government of Biafra in the manner of legal, customary, and decent governments. To secure the freedom and liberty of Biafra in its peoples from occupation by Nigeria, based on self-determination paradigm and principles, with all haste and by all means necessary. To represent the sovereignty and interests of Biafra and its people in the region and in the world at large. To project the sovereignty, independence, and humanity of Biafra and its people at all times. Now, pay attention. We have gotten now to the main case that we are treating today. If I treat it today, what we are treating today is where we are now. We have entered there, and I want every one of you to pay attention. I will show you where to go so that if you want to go and read for yourself, you will go there to the page where I'm reading now in order to read for yourself and confirm it for yourself. Now listen. To constitute a transitional government of Biafra, which is known as TGB, Transitional Government of Biafra. Remember, I played you our PM's, conversation, which he talked about how the transitional government of Biafra. Now he said, this very charter, the Biafran charter said, to constitute a transitional government of Biafra, TGB, immediately after liberation of Biafra from Nigeria. Now, to constitute a transitional government of Biafra known as TGB immediately after liberation of Biafra from Nigeria for a specified and finite duration not to exceed 4 years. My people, I want you to reason today. If today happens to be the only day you can reason, please utilize today to reason, because what Nigeria has come to do is to destroy us completely. After the arrest of our prime minister, Nigeria came to destroy us within. So I want you to reason. Follow this very, lecture very, very well. I want you to leave every other thing you are doing and focus, because I may not be able to do this again. I am not here for saga, so I may not be able to do this again. This may be only one time that I'll have time to do this. Pay attention, my wonderful people of Biafra. Now, let's take that again. To constitute a transitional government of Biafra, which PM had already said based on the conversation that I played for you before coming here, before coming to the Biafra Charter, from PM direct. To constitute a transitional government of Biafra known as TGB immediately after liberation of Biafra, immediately after liberation of Biafra, not immediately after declaration in Finland. We are still in exile. In case you don't know, don't let anybody confuse you. We are still in exile. And I don't want to talk first. Let me finish reading, then I'll talk. Now, immediately after liberation of Biafra from Nigeria for a specified and infinite duration not to exceed 4 years, pending the formalization of Biafra state structures, post-occupation and post-liberation. Ona na nuku oyibo ko ono cholo kana translate ya n'Igbo. Omu banyi, omu Biafra, the Biafran people. Do you people do you people understand it? Do you people understand it, or you want me to translate it in Igbo language? Let me take that again. Let me take that again. It says, immediately after liberation of Biafra from Nigeria for a specified and infinite duration not to exceed 4 years, pending the formalization of Biafra state. Listen, the formalization of Biafran state structures, post-occupation and post-liberation. Everything, before we even talk about anything, we are going to first of all liberate ourselves from Nigeria, and this transitional government is post-occupation and post-liberation, post-occupation of Nigeria in Biafra territory and post-liberation after we must have, evicted Nigeria from Biafra and liberate ourselves from Nigeria. Then we begin to talk about transitional government. We haven't even come to BRGIE. We haven't come to, I want you to follow. Borrow ear this evening. Borrow ear this evening. Borrow ear this evening. I know the reason I said that. Not for insult. I know the reason I said that. Now, to secure Biafra people and its territory, the Biafra Republic government in exile has formed and deployed the Biafra Liberation Army, BLA, Biafra Resistance Fighters, BRF, and Biafra Air Force, Biafra Navy, the Black Marines, and the Dragon Fighters Marine. Structures of BDFG. The Biafra de facto government shall consist of 2 arms. Now, Ugo Ebelugonambawu, and I want everybody to listen. Ugo Ebelugonambawu. Now, the functions of BDFG, Biafra de facto government in the homeland. Now, the Biafra de facto government shall consist of 2 arms. A Biafra Republic government in exile, BRGIE, which is number 1, based outside of Biafra. Remember, the Biafra government consists 2 arms. Number 1 is BRGIE, which is based outside of Biafra. And number 2, a Biafra government within Biafra, to be known as Biafra Republic government in the homeland, known as BRGH. Biafra Republic government in the homeland. Now, both arms shall function in tight coordination and in harmony with the BRGIE in the apex role. The BRGIA will be in the apex role, which is Biafra Republic Government in Exile, will be in the apex role, because every decision and things we will be doing will come from BRGIA down to de facto in the homeland. Right? Now let's continue. Functions of BDFG. The sole function of Biafra Republic Government in Exile and Biafra de facto government is to carry out the mandate of the Biafra de facto government as stated in the Biafra Charter Authorization. BRGIE shall respect laws of host communities in furtherance of this mandate. BRGIE shall respect international laws dealing with self-determination and protection of human rights and rely in particular on the Geneva Conventions Protocol 2. BDFG, Biafra de facto government in homeland will work with our peoples at home, will work with our peoples at home in Biafra territory and in Nigeria
remain adamant that he probably is not going to allow this. He said the unity of Nigeria is non-negotiable. That clearly indicates that he's not going to relent in his push to silence any voice of dissenting as far as that position is concerned. So which way forward to heal the divide between or amongst the Nigerians, especially on Biafra crisis?
I think the best thing is to ask them what they want. I remember one time Professor Wole Soyinka said, if we can continue fighting Biafrans for such a long time, it's not long before we go to war, which is actually happening right now. Why don't we ask them what they want? And for sure they have voiced and they have said it, that they want referendum. Why? Because for a long time, they do not have a mutual understanding with the rest of the Nigeria nation. They are not understood. They are marginalized for such a long time. They are not wanted by the rest of the Nigerian government. So the best thing is to take them to a referendum so that we know exactly what they want and separate them if that is exactly what they want. Why? Because if we continue like this, these are crises not only in Nigeria, but it will have a ripple effect to the bordering countries. And with time, it will have a big effect to the African countries. As I'm talking, Africa has the largest immigrants to the world. It has the largest refugees to the rest of the continents. Why is that so? It's because of such crises that we can see in Biafra and Amazonia and other countries like Sudan. So I think before we even move forward, it's very important that we give or they're given referendum. From there, they can be able to sort out the rest of the challenges. And it's quite unfortunate because we have diplomatic missions in Nigeria. Why can't they take that issue with them and sort it out? Why are they quiet? Why is the world quiet when Biafrans are suffering? Why is the world quiet when we know very well that such issues can affect the whole of the African continent? It's quite sad, and that's why as Punchline Africa TV will continue talking to the world and saying that these people need a referendum. They're not needed. If you don't need me in your space, give me what I want so that I can self-govern myself, which I think it's a good way and a diplomatic way of allowing people to go their way.
That would be cool. Coupled with that, I would like you to approach it from a different angle altogether. What probably could have informed this agitation for, of course, separation, for a referendum to go separate ways between, of course, Nigeria and the people of Biafra? Let's approach it from that angle as you and ask ourselves, what probably can we do to see into it that we find a healing in this divide?
Yeah, I think it's paramount to understand that for starters, there was no redemption, and the word you just used, healing, from the first Biafran crisis in 1967, to the 3 years fighting. And if you remember very well, there was a brief period where they got their independence, and then the Nigerian military decided to send all the planes to just bomb indiscriminately anybody who was found in that region. And those scars are passed on in what is called transgenerational trauma. You don't even have to tell your child about this. It's the same thing that affects most African countries. You don't really need to tell your child, hate this person or hate this person, but the way you behave and the way you talk about these things and the tone with which you use, your children pick that, and then they grow up with that. They send it to their children and their children's children, and each generation comes forth understanding their history and knowing very well that we are the people who have been marginalized in a country where we are one of the most, we are creating profit. We're bringing GDP, one of the highest rates of GDP. We're bringing the largest group of intelligent people. We're bringing the largest group of talented people. And yet we are the people who are not benefiting from all this. And this crisis goes on in most of the countries that we are finding, we are finding, in the African continent with protests currently like Amazonia and Ethiopia. If you bring in another angle of...
All right, please let me know if my voice is coming out clear now. Please let me know so we can continue. Very, very important. Let me know. If you can hear me, please let me know in the comment section, my wonderful people of Biafra and, of course, lovers of freedom. Can you hear me? The very moment we went into the main point that has brought us here today, boom. Boom. Osetia. The very moment. Because that very chapter, or should I say page, that very page 27 was the straw that breaks the camel's back. That page 27, after Once I'm done with that page 27 this evening, those of you who have been confused all this while, we know your stand. Those of you who didn't know where you stand will definitely come to realization, will definitely know your stand. Once I'm done with the page 27, which I'm bringing back now, you all will know where you stand. So relax, calm down. One thing I will assure you, one thing I will promise you is that, listen, because I did not listen to any of them, any of these two groups fighting, I didn't listen to their personal and individual conversations. I wanted a meeting. I called for a meeting. They disappointed me. They all disappointed me. So I have to go and follow the Biafra law. Because we have a law already. We already have a law which all of them. Somebody say, please go back to page 26. Okay, fine. I will start from the ending part of page 20. Maybe that is where my voice, maybe I don't know if it was attack or what. And I also want to use this opportunity to announce that we are no longer, in fact, let me keep that one for now. We will get there later. We'll get there later. So I'm bringing it back to the screen. I am not in any way following anybody. Right? I am showing you where our Prime Minister stands. And wherever our Prime Minister stands, that is where I stand. And our Prime Minister cannot enact law and do otherwise. Something that has been signed into law of Biafra, which they all joined together to sign. Which all of them joined together and signed into law in Finland during the convention. So, in as much as that is where our Prime Minister stands, then I will have no problem standing there at the same time. Now, I'm going to continue with the ending part of the page 26 because someone has already asked me to go back to page 26. Probably that is where my voice stopped, coming out. Can you hear me? Please let me know in the comment section so that we'll continue immediately without wasting any further time. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, please? If my voice is coming out clear, let me know now so we continue. Very, very important. All right. So we'll continue now. Let us continue. Now, functions of BDFG. The sole function of Biafra Republic Government in Exile and Biafra de facto government is to carry out the mandate of the Biafra de facto government as stated in the Biafra Charter Authorization. BLGIE shall respect laws of host communities in furtherance of this mandate. BLGIE shall respect international laws dealing with self-determination and protection of human rights and rely in particular on the Geneva Convention's Protocol 2. BDFG will work with our peoples at home in Biafra territory and in Nigeria, cognizant of the state of Nigeria's occupational forces foisted over our people, to keep alive and project Biafra's sovereignty and independence in accordance with the mandate, and to mobilize. Now, pay attention. I want you to remember here because we are going into the next page. And to mobilize, right? To mobilize and do what again? or Banje Yaba this evening. After this broadcast, Yakbotobazia, Yakbotoba. Now, and to mobilize from the other page, now this is page 27. Organize and manage our people for socio-political activism in order to carry out our resolve for self-determination. Now listen, and listen very, very attentively, my Biafran people. At all times, the functions of BLGIE and BLGH, Biafra Republic Government in Homeland, are to